Hello, sweethearts. Frezno Inferno here. Before we get into the fun talking about our sci-fi program, I feel that we should talk about a very real issue that happened over the weekend. On September the 24th, Hurricane Fiona made landfall in Atlantic Canada, and in particular did severe damage to the southwest coast of Newfoundland. And, well, houses have been destroyed, people are left homeless, they're stranded, they're really in a lot of need right now. And, well, I want to use what platform I have to help, and so that's why I'm asking you to consider donating to the Hurricane Fiona in Canada appeal, sponsored by the Canadian Red Cross. Every dollar helps, every pound helps, so, whatever you feel like you can spare, you can just throw their way to help fund humanitarian assistance, relief, recovery, and all that sort of stuff to help the people in the southwest coast of Newfoundland get what they need to get back on their feet and recover from this tragedy. So, thank you for your consideration in that. Much solidarity and love to the people of the southwest coast. Us Newfies will stick together and we'll get through this with the power of community. And now that that's said, let's go into that fun sci-fi stuff. And I'll let Rainiac take over and tell you who we've got here and what we're talking about.
Well, this week we are talking about the first Doctor serial, The Aztecs, as chosen by one of our two co-hosts. And who are our co-hosts? Well, firstly, to my virtual left, his lifelong quest is to find the temple of the item. It's Freezing Inferno.
Oh, I found I just left the temple. It was called Grand Bank. It was nice.
Yes, it's just a shame about the circumstances as you were leaving it. But
well, yeah, but I got back, so that's something.
True, and I'm very grateful for that. And to my virtual right, she once misunderstood what a pyramid scheme is and is banned for life from Egypt. It's Kat.
Look, they're just sitting there. No guards, nobody around to watch. Who cares if I take a couple of bricks and sell them on eBay?
As it turns out, the Egyptian government.
Well, excuse me for being entrepreneurial.
Oh, God, it's funny we talk about doing colonialism and stealing...
Yeah, isn't it funny? Isn't that just hilarious? Oh, God.
Speaking of the Aztecs!
The Aztecs,
Oh, come on, it's not Barbara's fault. She just felt her English blood enticing her to steal a bracelet and then ruined everything for everybody.
You're not wrong, and I hate it. Oh.
I hate it more because it's a direct insult of my people. But yes.
Look! I'm not rubbing the colonialism in your face this time, Rainiac, because I had to watch this shit too.
Exactly.
I got bigger ideological fish to fry than saying colonialism bad. Trust me.
I do appreciate the fact that we're getting it out of the way.
Yes.
It doesn't excuse the fact that we're still doing it.
I mean, we had to do it at some point. Might as well just get it out of the way, be done with it, and then we can move on to
ruin my weekend. I disliked it that much. Spoilers for later on in the podcast.
It's look, my weekend was already filled with high anxiety over the wind, which again, like, nothing compared to what Southwest Coast had to deal with. But still, pretty anxious. Listen to that shit.
Yeah, my weekend was full of anxiety about the economy.
Oh, this world's
and how nobody seems to have a damn clue on how to fix it, and the realization that I can't rely on governments to help me. I've got to help myself. But forget about that. Because that, is very depressing. As opposed to this, which is all sunshine and rainbows.
Rain, why did that make me think of that one Streets of Rage meme caption? Only trust your fists. Police will never help you.
I didn't say police. I
know, but that just made me think.
I said government. I actually meant to say politicians.
Y'all are weird.
Because it's not just the government. That's kind of the whole problem. Anyway, yeah, so, the Aztecs. The Aztecs
is a first season Doctor Who story.
So the good season.
We liked the first episode, didn't we? Oh, the unearthly child. We liked that.
Well, that's because it was less racist.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, that's the only first season story we've covered, isn't it?
Well, we've done the
It's Unearthly
Daleks, but we
Child.
did it via the superior film
Yeah, yeah.
version.
Well, we didn't technically do the Daleks. We did like the Gonzo Technicolor adaptation of the Daleks.
We skipped out on the Daleks in favour of the much more superior Peter Cushing version.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Put the pitchforks down, nerds. I'm joking, but
I mean, one day I'll subject you to Edge of Destruction, which is the first proper Gonzo episode.
Oh boy!
is that the one that they filmed entirely in the TARDIS because they ran out of budget?
Basically, yeah. And they all go fucking stir crazy. And Susan tries to stab people with scissors, and shit melts. It's great.
Okay, we'll do that one day for sure. That sounds more up my street.
Who has their pick next?
It's Jerry.
It's me.
All right, Frez, you know what to do.
I know what to do. Don't worry, it's already done.
Whether he'll do it remains to be seen, but he knows what to do.
Oh yeah. So, shall we get into this thing?
If we must, because we start with utter confusion on my part.
Oh
I thought, right, okay, are we missing something here?
no.
The previous serial was The Keys of Marinus, right?
Oh god.
Yes.
The Keys of Marin. You want to talk about some batshit stuff? Oh god.
Well, I haven't seen that one.
That's gonna be a trip whenever we
But
get
does the Aztecs directly follow on from the end of The Keys of Marinus?
I don't know.
Because if that's the case, that would it skews the fact that this just seems to jump right in there.
Oh yeah, well, old Doctor Who was like that. You know, it was a weekly serial thing, so it's just like next time this thing.
Because Barbara immediately jumps out of the TARDIS with Susan, and we're in Mexico.
Animating the TARDIS moving took too much money.
We're in Mexico, and where exactly we are in time is actually disputed. There are different dates given for where this serial is set.
I just have this as the 15th century on TARDIS Wiki.
Yeah, it's meant to be 1480. I think that was the internal date given in the production notes. But other dates have been given. The actual, precise date is not that important, as long as you know it's after the year 1430.
It's the height of the Aztec Empire.
Yes. Which, as history buff though I am, I don't know too much about, aside from one history book I had as a child.
I don't really know much about it either, but it's okay because early Doctor Who was supposed to be educational and teach the kids some stuff and make you learn something. So maybe we'll learn something by watching this. Oh God, why does it hurt?
I mean, I learned something today.
What did you learn?
I learned that this episode isn't that good.
Fair?
So,
I may have already known that, but vindication.
Well, we already alluded to it in the opening, but we are in a tomb of some kind. The TARDIS has landed in a tomb, and Boomer immediately comes out and sees a corpse / mummy. I'm not sure. On the
Dead guy.
like dead person on a slab. Decides to grave rob from it.
Yeah,
A pretty bracelet.
because Barbara has not seen The Mummy Returns.
How British could you possibly be?
You're on thin ice.
I wish I was watching Thin Ice. That'd be a great
Not
story.
that
Yeah.
thin ice!
It's like we'd get Capaldi. That sounds
Not
amazing.
that thin ice,
A
unfortunately.
racist would get punched. Excellent. One more.
Hey!
Not that thin ice, unfortunately.
No. So,
Well, that's okay, Renak. Eventually you'll let it go.
okay, so they play around a bit, and then, we opened up this door. Let's go explore. Oh, whoops, the door's shut behind us. This fucking door. This is the most writers gotta eat thing of the entire thing.
Yeah.
The entire
Yeah.
story happens because they can't get this fucking thing open and leave.
Well, the problem is that they're not showing enough love to each other because love is an open door.
But I was just waiting for the wrist shot as soon as you said it.
Rain. It's been a while since. It's been a couple of weeks since I heard a rim shot on like that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, you've just proven that you definitely didn't listen to it last week then, because there was about 8 or 9 rim shots.
I meant in person. I meant in person. I was on vacation.
I know.
Puppies.
I know for a
There!
fact that you definitely did watch it, listen to it, because you reacted in this discourse to when you found out what cat had picked.
Yeah. Also, I just said it, puppies. There.
Yes. So you
Wait,
get
where
a
are
pass.
puppies? I want puppies.
Then why'd you pick this? Anyway, yeah, they are separated from the TARDIS for almost the whole serial via this convenient door that they cannot open for large parts of the serial. I'm laughing because...
And then they finally get it open at one point, and then they can't open it again because they're dumbasses.
Yeah.
It's
Basically.
it's like, okay, this is still early Doctor Who, but you know how in later Doctor Who they have a reason for the Doctor to want to stay there? Oh, there's some injustice happening, or there's some alien bullshit happening that must be stopped. Here it's just, I want to leave, but I can't because of this fucking door. We don't want to be here. It sucks here.
Yeah. So Barbara is met by one of the Aztecs, who mistakes her for a trespasser, and immediately calls for guards.
Yes, you do.
But then he looks down at her wrist, and we have a Simpson Stonecutters episode moment where he completely changes his disposition towards her. And so the Doctor, Susan and Ian have gone through the trapdoor. They're now cut off from the TARDIS. Nice job breaking it, hero. It's to do with not allowing grave robbers in. The gods can get out, but grave robbers can't get in. The guy that caught Barbara introduced himself as Ortlock. I am going to butcher these names horribly, so I apologise. Right off the bat. But
if we have trouble, let's just refer to them by their positions. We have the High Priest of Knowledge, who I think is Otlock.
Yeah.
And then we have the High Priest of Sacrifice, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, even though I heard it so many times.
Funny you mentioned that, because they can't decide how it's pronounced in the story.
No,
there's at least 4 different pronunciations of this man's name in the story by different characters at different times.
I like to settle on Etoxel.
Yeah, we'll go with that, just so we can actually refer to it. So
apologies to this made-up Aztec if we're butchering your name wrong, but that's a easy to remember pronunciation for me. So.
But this is all.
I'm just gonna go with Smart Boy and Stabby Boy.
That also works. So Smart Boy says that Yetaxa seeks an audience with the strangers, and they go to meet this god, and they find Barbara.
Yeah.
So Barbara took the bracelet. They mistook her for a reincarnation of the priest Yetaxa, who is the body they found in the temple. And so they think Barbara's a god, as you do. This is totally
At least
not
they're not
compromising
pointing out like her fair white skin or anything like that.
Or the fact that she's now a woman, yes.
Well, no, that part they're fine with because, gods take many forms or whatever bullshit.
Yeah. Except that it's strange to begin with that she's treated as a god because reincarnation of a mortal man. Who they know is a mortal man. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, and for God's sake, we have to move on.
I think the idea, pardon me, I'm about to get a whole bunch of shit about Aztec culture and mythology wrong, but I think the point is that he was a high priest, so when he died, he ascended to godhood.
That could be true.
And so when he comes back as a reincarnation, they assume that she is a god.
Again, I don't know too much about the Aztec civilization, other than the bare essentials. But I think you're probably right.
It's like that's what I'm assuming has happened. This Doctor Who episode that's trying to teach me something isn't doing a very good job of teaching me something.
No, it's not, is it?
No,
Um,
no, not really.
so Barbara
Anyway,
uses her
I need a science lesson. I'm gonna throw on this other episode. What's it called? Kill the Moon.
Yeah.
I know where you live.
I know.
Today on Cooking with Space Dragons.
Kenneth, you're threatening me, but odds are you've already sent me some gonzo shit for my birthday.
I mean, I did. Speaking of, it might be a little bit late.
That's fine.
Just wanted to let you know.
I mean, the world's currently half on fire, so yeah.
Not this part. It's rain and wind.
I was metaphorical fire, but
Oh yeah. Move.
So we've got wind, we've got rain, and we've got fire. Now we just need like a big earthquake, and we'll have the all the disasters.
I mean, it
we
was the
need to be
21st
able to
of
make an
September,
avatar.
4 days ago.
If we get an earthquake, it will have at least some disco tunes, huh?
I was going to say, Earth, Wind and Fire, it was the 21st of September 4 days ago.
Body out.
Still a banger, even not in September, but
It's like I remember that day. It was an interesting day. And then the next day, I got yelled at by an asshole. So. Oh wait,
fun.
no, it was Friday. I got yelled at by an asshole. That's what it was.
I love the fact that you were able to narrow it down to a single day you were yelled at by an asshole.
It was a very memorable asshole.
And we'll leave it there. So, Barbara uses her position as the god, the reincarnated god, to basically save the Doctor, Ian, and Susan, and give them free reign of the Aztec civilization. And we immediately have conflict between Ortlock and Ytoxel. Is that how we're pronouncing it?
Yes. That's
Yeah.
how we'll pronounce it.
Stabby boy. We have conflict between these two high priests over who should be the leader of the army. Because we have Ixter, who's a dick, and we have
As you
Ian,
do.
who's just been introduced to the civilization by Ytaxa.
But of course, he is a male under the purview of a god, so therefore he must be a mighty divine warrior.
Which I think Ortlock so much as says, or sorry, no, Ytoxel says as such to Ortlock.
Yeah.
Of course, Ytoxel is not being sincere. He's got an agenda. He's got plans of his own.
Of course, he's got an agenda. The Doctor, meanwhile, is an old man, so he's taken to what's called the Garden of Peace, where they just basically put all their old people so that they don't have to do anything for the rest of their lives, except talk to people.
Yeah. The Garden of Peace is an interesting name for it, given that this is the Aztec civilization. And they were not really about peace. But we do meet one of the two reasonable people in this story. Again, apologies for the pronunciation of the name here. Kameka?
Mika?
Kameka, yeah. I said I was going to get it wrong, and I did.
I'm pretty sure Kamika's pretty close, but otherwise you can just put it as horny grandma.
Holy grandma!
Am I wrong?
This is a very interesting choice to be a love interest. In the context of 60s television. You're not wrong.
How is she interesting?
No, the fact that it's an older person being the love interest is interesting.
Well, she's still probably younger than the Doctor is, so...
I'm just looking at this through the lens of 60s television.
Hmm.
Or certainly British 60s television. But yes,
I mean, I guess.
she's one of the two reasonable people that we meet. The other one is a bit of a spoiler for who that is, because it involves a change of heart. The Doctor is smitten with
I played my trap card.
Maiden in Love. I know that's a monster. Don't at me, Yu-Gi-Oh nerds. Okay, I know that's a monster card.
At him at Rainiac Demaniac on Twitter. Tell him exactly why he's wrong.
And I'll tell you, my Baron de Fleur should be burned on sight.
No, it's okay. We'll
Baron
tar and
before,
feather
I
you.
thought you hated Destroy Phoenix and Force.
I mean, I can hate both.
Yeah.
But yes, I hate that one too.
So let me talk to you about my Madolches.
I'm fine with my Dolce, though.
Don't. Let me tell you about what dumb bullshit did I do?
My Dolce actually requires skill to use, whereas this is just you can't play anything against it. You lose. Lol.
Obviously, you haven't seen my Madolches and how bullshit they are.
The Madolches don't lock you out of the game. The Madolches beat the shit out of you.
They also require some actual
yes.
setup to use properly.
They can technically lock you out of the game if you have the right cards down. Like, I've had several times where somebody plays a trap card, and then I play my own trap card, and it returns their trap to their hand, so they can't even use it, and it's like, just, they're done.
Allow me to introduce you to the Aramage 6 chain
Soft lock. Let's put it that way.
sometime. But we're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!, unfortunately.
I'd like to talk.
Join
about
us
Yu-Gi-Oh.
next time for our Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast, where we stop talking about
Let me
Doctor
tell
Who.
you about Virtual World.
Let me tell you about why the three Egyptian god cards are bullshit.
They are actually really bad cards.
You have 5 hours.
Oh, hey, Kat, I've been tuning up my Obelisk deck for when Blazy gets here this week.
My
I
favorite,
both approve and don't approve.
My favorite thing about my favorite thing about the Master Duel when it first came out was memes of people finding out the god cards were actually really, really bad, and so they were breaking
Vindication!
They were breaking down the god cards to get better cards, and so people were just linking that bit from Yu-Gi-Oh! Series 2 where Kaiba sacrificed Obelisk to summon blue
Right! I'll sacrifice God! We really would rather talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Than the Aztecs.
See, he's a bit late because technically the Christians already did that. Wait, no, the Romans did that. Excuse me.
Yeah, the God cards are shit, but Kat, you are not wrong to hate them for their being.
What?
Chris is going to listen to this one, and she's going to come and punch me. I just know it.
Kat, what was?
What?
You didn't hear her, did you?
No.
The Christians got there first, technically.
Oh,
the Romans. The Romans got there
she
first.
meant the Romans, but still.
Chris is going to punch me.
Fortunately, we have to talk about the Aztecs.
We do. So, the Doctor has his subplot with Kamika, and that'll become more important as time goes on. But they are. She's doing this mint with him, and I think there is a mutual respect. I wouldn't say attraction at this point, but a mutual respect.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing to talk about the Aztecs.
We then get the killer scene. All right, I deserve that. Okay, I just saw that.
Oh, wait, that's the door that they keep trying to open.
Yeah.
Oh my god, in card form!
No wonder they're having such trouble as 2,000 defense.
Oh. Old Mech has a lot to answer for, but the killer scene is this. So it's Barbara's in her Yataxa get-up, and she has a conversation with the Doctor. Ian is also present. Susan is there. Susan actually does very little in some of these episodes because she was on holiday at the time.
Where did she go?
I have no idea, but the actress was on holiday. Caroline Ford was on holiday. The Doctor basically says that you can't change history. It's impossible to change history.
Oh boy, here we go.
And Barbara says, no, if I stop the human sacrifices, the Aztecs will not die out, they will not be conquered by the Spanish, and they can live on and be a better civilization.
I mean, that's not why the Aztecs died out. The Aztecs died out because the Spanish were bastards.
And we get that clip that got repeated ad infinitum for the ads for the Doctor Who Twitch marathon, which is when I first.
London, 1960. This is
not that one. When I Barbara, what you're trying to do is impossible. Is utterly impossible. I know. Believe me, I know. And Barbara does not listen to a word of this and says, I'm not Barbara, you're Taxa. And so the sacrifice is being prepared. Utaxis draws
Also,
into...
you want to know the real reason that all the Aztecs started to die away?
Oh, no.
Like,
Smallpox.
yay.
I thought that was the
So
Mayans.
basically-
Barbara, the self-proclaimed Aztec expert, does not remember the fact that they died because they got fucking diseased.
Didn't they die because they got conquered by the Spanish?
Even better, do you remember what Barbara's job was before she got hijacked?
Wasn't she a
from
fucking
space?
teacher?
She was a fucking history teacher!
History teacher, yeah.
And she doesn't realize that the Spanish accidentally gave them smallpox, and possibly also on purpose, because,
Well,
let's be fair,
she-
history fucking sucks, and that weakened them against the Spanish.
Well, either she doesn't because she's being willfully naive, or because the writer forgot.
Yeah.
But you know,
Or the writer just didn't fucking know.
So the saviour, Yetaxa, who is Barbara then, strolls out, and just as the sacrifice is being prepared outside on the temple, she stops it. She just stops it. And you
I'm
might
sure
think...
everything will work out with this.
Yeah, and, you know...
I mean, it's not like that victim is immediately going to get up, say, you dishonor me, and then throw himself off the temple. Oh, there he goes.
That's exactly what he does. Ixta, who is a dick, and the victim are outraged by this. The guy she's just saved is upset that she saved him.
And
Because...
so this is a
dishonor.
This is part of what makes the story not work for me in one big sense. You have that entire idea of the Doctor saying, "Oh, you can't change a thing about this. You can't rewrite history. No, it has to play out exactly like this." And so so Barbara tries to change something, and then it's like, "No, actually, you just made things worse. You didn't change anything. Everything's bleak and dark and stupid. And this fucking civilization can't possibly change." And it's like, that might make good drama, but it's not what I come to this fucking sci-fi show for.
Well, she makes the change, and then the change happens anyway in a different manner.
It's just
Like the end of the
It's
Waters
the
of
idea-
Mars.
like this is early Doctor Who. They don't have the whole 6-point thing set in stone yet. You know, they're just learning as they go. But
Which, by the way,
Well,
kids...
that's-
I mean, I did some research into this. Like, I didn't do a whole lot, but I wanted to get an idea of certain things. And most of this is just to prove that Barbara's not a very good teacher.
basically...
The whole reason, or at least one of the many reasons that Aztecs practice in human sacrifice is because if they thought that if they didn't sacrifice to a certain sun god, that the entire world would plunge into darkness and end.
Yeah. And it's all to do with the winged serpent Quetzalcoatl.
No, it's the sun god, whose name I cannot pronounce, but hopefully, Rainiac, you will just put a
Yeah.
little clip in there that shows how it's spelled.
I do know... One thing I do know about Aztec myth is that the gods were agreed to be sacrificed for the sun god to move. And it was Quetzalcoatl...
Yeah, so basically, she is trying to change a culture of people who think that if they don't sacrifice, they will cause the apocalypse.
Basically.
like more into that. It's just like, this is just almost a nihilist story in a way. It's just like, nothing you do fucking matters, so don't try.
And by the way, kids, if you want to watch an actual good episode of Doctor Who, where they have the whole you can't change history, and if you do, it'll just change back in a different way, but actually done well.
Waters of Mars.
Yeah, watch the Waters of Mars. It's better than this.
If you want to watch a first Doctor story that's all about being trapped in an immutable bit of history that can't be changed, which I actually think works better as a tragedy, this is a missing story, so you're gonna have to put up with the whole reconstruction thing. But the massacre.
Yeah, which is also dark as hell.
It's
Speaking
dark,
of massacres, apparently the Aztecs sacrifice. It was estimated the Aztecs sacrificed like 250,000 people in a year. So Barbara didn't do shit.
And a lot of them were children.
Good Chris.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
but
I enjoyed the massacre. It's I know it is dark.
Wow. Wow, that is a sentence, Frez. I enjoyed the massacre.
please do not put that on your soundboard. I'm begging you don't.
I
put that on your
mean,
soundboard.
Oh, all right. I'll be nice
It is his birthday in a couple of
this
days.
time.
And his country is getting battered by storms. So.
Nipples.
Did
That's better.
Yes, perfect.
I enjoyed the first Doctor story that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago because while it is dark and while it has a really bad ending of sorts, it's done better. I just think it's done better, and it's not this messy thing where it's like, oh, nothing you do matters. Just
Well,
it's a
nothing
better.
really matters to me.
Anyway, the wind blows. So,
Speaking of wind blowing, it turns out that just as this guy falls to his death, it happens to rain, which is exactly what Stabby Boy was waiting for because he wanted to prove that, as long as he sacrificed somebody, the rains would come. Which Knowledge Boy has decided, well, the rains are always going to come, so I don't know why we need a sacrifice. But of course, Stabby Boy is like, we're going to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then he does like a Shakespearean monologue.
Oh
to
my
the camera.
god, yeah. But Barbara says the sacrifices are prohibited from this moment on, and then he just goes full Richard III ham here. This is a false goddess.
I will destroy her.
He just does a soliloquy from Hamlet, basically. While the camera zooms in on the face, and this is a meme in itself. Just look at it.
You're putting it.
The line of war paint across his mouth, which doesn't quite match up.
By the way, all these actors are British people. All these people playing Aztecs are British people.
Again,
so,
it was the 60s.
Yeah. We should mention that, just...
I thought that was obvious, but yes. But it was the 60s.
It was,
and
but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is what they did in the 60s. So, yeah, we've now set up your Toxel.
It's what they did in the 70s, too.
Yeah, all right. We've now set up your Toxel as the antagonist, the main antagonist, opposed to Barbara/Yetaxa, with Ortlock caught in the middle. So we have at least set up, we have set the stage at least for what's to come next. So part 2 begins with how part 1 ended, with the Doctor yelling at Barbara for interfering when she shouldn't. Susan's been taken to a seminary. What?
It's so she only has to appear for a minute.
Yeah, this is one of the 2 episodes that was filmed while she was on holiday. So pre-tape sequences that were shot during the Keys of Marinus are her only appearance in these 2 parts, and it shows.
Lady not appearing in this film.
Lucky her.
Everybody else, you have to be here. And then we just hear a collective, "Aw, man."
But the Doctor then seems to brighten up a bit. Because yes, he's angry with Barbara for what she's done. He's worried about Susan. But he does now have a friend in Kameka. And he's quite excited about finding out more about the tomb. So they can get out of here. So that's interesting. It's going to become more interesting when the Doctor does something that really goes against type of he is tricked. But that's later on in this particular part of the serial.
Yeah, for now we get men measuring dicks contest.
I was going to say we get a dick measuring contest here between Ian and Ixter.
Yay.
Yay.
And
that's exactly what I want in my Doctor Who.
Yeah, so Ixter wants to be the commander of the armed forces, but Ian's been chosen. Ian asserts his dominance by cheating.
I mean, he doesn't really cheat. He still uses his wits and his abilities
it's
against
not so much cheating
Ixter.
as using knowledge that the other guy doesn't have.
I mean, that's how you win wars. You
True,
use
that's
things
just
that
clever.
the other side doesn't have.
Fair enough, it's just being clever. He basically, Ixter's like boasting to him and says, "I could kill you with my thumb, just my thumb," and he just applies his thumb to the pressure point on the back of Ixter's neck, and down he goes.
Spock is most pleased with this.
No, don't worry. Cat, you're going to get like 2 or 3 chances to hit that button.
I know, I'm itching for it.
Unfortunately.
We'll get okay, Rain.
The 2 priests come in. Your Toxilist is made that Ixter just lost. Outlook is that, like, he has disarmed Ixter. He is our commander. Ytoxel then breaks the rules, and we get another introduction of a character, the perfect victim. So, I don't know if this was a genuine thing the Aztecs did or not, because again, I'm not too familiar. But the concept of this perfect victim is that he's been bred to be sacrificed since he was essentially born. So he gets everything that he demands in the days leading up to the sacrifice.
So he's an entitled asshole.
Basically, he's treated like a god. A god on earth. And they manipulate this perfect victim to basically say, well, that wasn't really fair. So let's have a fairer contest between the two men, and the winner of that will command our armies. Yes, the sacrifice victim has this power, just go with it.
Like, I haven't been able to find anything about the perfect victim. Or at least not somebody who was, born and bred to essentially do this sort of thing. The most that I found is that, victims were very highly regarded. They were considered to be, some of the one of the highest honors. Even, like, people from other, I'm struggling to think of a word that
Cultures?
doesn't sound horrible.
Civilizations?
Yes, other civilizations who had a same type of religion still understood the whole victim thing and were still 100% all for this if they were going to be a sacrifice. So they would bless children, they would greet and cheer on, people around them. They would listen to people, and they would take... Essentially, it was like anybody who wanted to say something to the gods could come up and tell them, and they would carry that information to the gods.
Yeah. And again, I don't know about the perfect victim thing, but I do know of stories of children who were bred specifically to be a sacrifice. As horrifying as
Yeah,
that
it happens today in the U.S. where people who have a compromised child decide to have another child and then use that child as a body farm.
Ugh.
Oh, Christ.
I mean, you're right to go
We
there.
have not fucking changed.
No, you're right to go there, but I kind of wish you hadn't gone there.
We live in a society.
Yep. But honestly, the whole reason that I continue to point that out is because people really need to know that happens. So if you ever see somebody who, like a child, who is being, basically used for whatever this older child might need, maybe look into that, because that's abusive. And they're just basically being used as a body farm and they can't get away or anything like that. So just pay attention to kids.
Yeah.
Advice.
People are horrible.
So the doctors in the... Yes, they are. So the doctors
This
in
has
the
been
Garden
your
of
PSA.
Peace... The doctors in the Garden of Peace with Kameka then, again, they're actively flirting with each other at this point. They're sharing stories, they're praising each other on the other's knowledge, and they are essentially flirting. The Doctor gets a nice line about him being called the Doctor because he's a scientist, an engineer, and a builder of things. He basically wants to meet the son of the man who designed the tomb.
Figure out how the fuck to open it and get out of here.
Oh god, yes.
I also want to point out that at the very least on TARDIS Wiki, they assume that when Kamika leaves, that the Doctor is smitten by her.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, having watched it myself.
I would like to hope that instead it is a mutual appreciation and respect towards someone who has a wonderful mind, but, it's a female in Doctor Who.
In the 60s, no less.
In the
And
60s.
therefore, the hots must apply, yes.
And people complain about the Doctor now and having, Rose and everybody be all into him. They did it in the first series.
Absolutely.
There you go.
We then get 20 questions with Eutoxel. Basically, quizzing Barbara about their ways, and he's trying to prove that she's a phony. And he says that I'm convincing more and more around me that you are a phony, so watch out. She counters by saying that this is knowledge. The priest of knowledge should be asking me this.
The way you said it made me think of, those people who are too invested in like Marvel and shit who accuse women of being fake geek girls.
Oh,
Name every Marvel comic ever, or you're a phony.
I'm thinking of Family Guy now.
Big fat.
This guy's a big fat
I am
phony.
lucky enough to have never encountered one of these guys, but if I ever do, watch out.
You need to borrow Polly's tire iron if that ever happens.
If you ever do, you're gonna tell him, "Oh hey, I know a Bruce Banner. You know what he says? Hulk smash."
Well, I would say that my favorite comic is definitely the one where Deadpool rips somebody's head off and then shoves it up his ass. Would you like to see an example of that?
There is something I could say in response, but it would be far too snarky, and it's not the time. So.
Also, I'm pretty sure Deadpool has never done that, but you know,
But they wouldn't know it. That's
I
the
would
point.
believe that Deadpool could.
Yeah, that's a Deadpool thing. That's 100% a Deadpool thing.
Deadpool for Mortal Kombat 12.
He's already in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, they've never
that was
agreed
amazing.
to it. Disney would never agree to it.
No.
Damn you, Michael
sadly.
Mouse. So.
Of course, DC would never. DC would never agree to it unless they could.
Your
tax
Topsel
write it
does
off and
manage
beat
to,
it
to basically
later.
say that to Barbara /Taxa, you will be confined to the tomb until Ortlock comes to question you. Also, we're having a fight and your boyfriend is about to get killed, so bye now. And she's obviously...
Oh, we should also mention that at this time, both Ian, the Doctor, and Susan are not allowed to be around her because they might conspire with her and give her like information that she needs or whatever. So technically, they're not supposed to be there. So they can't be seen around her.
No, because Susan is being raised to be the Aztec Eliza Doolittle at this point.
Oh God.
Let's be fair. It's a little worse than the Aztec Eliza Doolittle because, yeah.
Yeah, how to be a good
We'll
wife, according to the
get to
Aztecs. And this is just sad because
The 60s.
The code of the good housewife. That's the thing that they claim here, and I've got the code in its entirety here.
Why do you have the code in its entirety?
Because it's on
because
TARDIS
he's
Wiki.
British.
It's on TARDIS Wiki. Tend well your nurseries and your flower beds. Keep clean your pot and stew pan. Do not spend recklessly. Do not destroy or cheapen yourself. You will never have a house or home of your own if you live like that. That is not Aztec. That sounds more like Victorian prudes.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, that could also apply
because
to certain
hearing
men
that-
because there are a lot of men who do that.
Yeah, I'm here. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I also have to give a dig to TARDIS Wiki because I find it suspect that they were like, oh, this Doctor Who story, I better document all the lists on how to be a good submissive housewife. Ooh, better type them up.
They just
detail.
transcribed... Hang on, whoa. They just transcribed her dialogue.
Even so, it's like, you didn't have to type all that out in detail to be that thorough about sexism.
Also, she's being tutored by Ortlock and another guy called Tanila, who becomes more important later on.
Where's the captain?
Where's the captain?
No? Nobody?
Oh, Captain and Tennille. Yeah, very good.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Well, you guys have been ignoring me this entire time.
Wow, we didn't hear you until then.
No, we didn't.
Ah.
I was just taken aback by the Captain and Tennille reference by Jerry of all people.
Because the worst part is my little thing was lighting up, so I thought I was talking to y'all and you were just being dicks about it.
No, we couldn't hear you.
Nah, when we're dicks, you'll know it because we're doing it on purpose.
Where's this list, though? Because I'm on TARDIS Wiki now and I can't find it anywhere.
It's on the page for the Aztecs, episode 2.
Well, yes, that I know.
How to be a good wife. The Code of the Good Housewife, it's called. But yeah, that's only slightly horrifying. She managed to recite the text to Ortlock's satisfaction, so she's doing okay. But they're a bit concerned about her antiquated views of how a woman behaves in their society. Again, tugging at all the collars.
Again, Minako.png.
Yes.
Okay, seriously, where are you finding this? Because I've even just searched up the word housewife and I can't find it at all.
Okay, hang on.
Brainiac has to source the sexism. If you look on subsection
That.
14, column 8, you'll
Oh,
find
you mean it has its own section? Okay,
its
that's
own article.
Yeah,
fucked up.
that is very messed up.
Okay,
That's
okay,
fucked up.
Rain. I honestly thought that they just typed the whole thing out in the episode synopsis.
No, Frez, click on it and then look at the top where it has what articles that this is part of.
Okay.
Patriarchy.
Yep.
They have the page. Hang on. I have to click the patriarchy. Wait, that's the only.
That's the only thing under patriarchy.
They invented an entire fucking patriarchy category for this.
I love it.
Okay, you're slightly forgiven, TARDIS Wiki.
All right.
That's pure comedy. That is. I love it.
Oh, these fucking. Okay, this is completely like. Not...
Unfortunately, I have to break this happy moment because it's time for the Doctor.
Oh yeah,
to make
we still have to do the Aztecs.
It's time for the Doctor to make a mistake, and this is wild to me because you've got the Doctor actively going against the well-being of his companions. Now, albeit he doesn't know it's one of his companions at this point, he is tricked.
That's the point.
He is tricked by Ixter. Kameka is in many respects an innocent party in all this. She facilitates it, but doesn't know what she's facilitating. Because she was just said I'll get the son of the tomb builder. Son of the tomb builder turns out to be Ixter, or so he claims. And he says, "Well, I've got a fight with Yutax's champion, and I need to win it." And the Doctor says, "I can help you with that."
Well, he doesn't say it's her champion. He specifically says, I have a fight, and if I lose, then I'm not allowed to talk to anybody for so long.
Yeah, that's true.
Which means you won't get these drawings that my father made of the temple door.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can help with that.
That is true. So the Doctor, posing it as magic, takes poison out of a plant, gives it to Ixter and says, "You just scratch this against his skin and he'll become weak." Put a pin in that for later.
Literally.
Also, the Doctor plotting to poison someone.
I wouldn't call it poison. It's more like sleeping.
It's a poison.
Drug. It's not a fatal poison.
Yeah. Then we get Barbara.
Yeah. It's not the curse of fatal death.
Oh god. I wish it was. That's better than this. Again, come at me, nerds. I don't care.
You're right, and you should say it.
Okay, Moss Simpson. Yeah, Barbara preaches to the Aztecs that the sacrifice is wrong. Ortlock is quite moved by this. Ytoxal, of course, is absolutely horrified. The Doctor then gets in to see Barbara, and he's not allowed to be there, so he's immediately escorted out again.
I think he's arrested, actually.
He is actually arrested, yes, but
yeah,
nothing comes of that. He's still allowed free reign of the Aztec civilization, which is strange. But yeah, he gets arrested. Barbara tries to stop the fight between Ian and Ixter. She can't do it. And then the fight begins. Ian is clearly on top. I thank you. Oh, it's continuing. Okay. Ian is clearly on top of Ian is clearly on top of the conflict, and but then Ixter reveals his trap card, poison needle. He scratches Ian with it, and Ian starts to go as weak as a newborn kitten. Ixter then starts strangling the hell out of Ian. And
oh my god, he turned into Colin Baker.
Honestly, I kind of like this moment with Barbara because she kind of goes a little hard here.
She
Oh,
Because
does.
she comes in and she's like, "You need to stop this now." And Stabby Boy's like, "Well, then go ahead and stop it." And so she just picks up a knife and takes it to Stabby Boy's neck and is like, "Y'all better stop this
That's
now,
how
or
that's how
else."
the,
Even
the
better.
cliffhanger resolves it. So the cliffhanger
This
is
is the cliffhanger resolution.
yeah, the cliffhanger is
Part 2 is like,
Stop
oh,
them then.
well, save him, and it's to be continued next week. Save him. How about this knife, motherfucker?
so of course he stops the fight like a coward.
Want to get his throat slit?
Well, if he had true belief in his conviction, they should have used this.
Ah.
They should have used this against him, but they don't, because that kind of goes against the whole point of the episode.
Well, he doesn't want to die. He just wants the preordained sacrifices to die.
And then Barbara tries to convince Ortlock about the sacrifice will see the end of the Aztec civilization. We get
Which
a lot
is
of
not,
these scenes.
again, it's smallpox.
We get a lot of these scenes, so they kind of blend into one with me.
Smallpox and colonization.
Then we get what we already knew, that Ixter is a lying bastard, because he tells Ytoxel of his encounter with the Doctor. So why would the Doctor agree to hurt Ytoxel's champion with his magic? Oh, he didn't know it was Ian. But how? Yes, but why did he agree to help you specifically? Oh, I lied to him. There are no plans of the tomb. Yeah.
Well, that comes much later. Right now, he was just like, I tricked him. I didn't tell him who I was fighting, and he went ahead and gave me all this information.
Yeah. And we get more dialogue that really doesn't go anywhere and doesn't really matter. And then, having not seen The Mummy Returns, Barbara has seen The Princess Bride.
Inconceivable.
Because we got a poisoning attempt here.
God.
By Tanita.
Well, it's less that she's seen it and more the fact that Ian is behind her because he's woken up in this time and Ixta is like trying to be all buddy-buddy. It's like, oh, I could definitely take you down, so we'll be friends until I kill you.
Oh, yes.
So Ian manages to sneak in and is like, Barbara, I think they're planning something. And then they come in and behind them, you can see him waving his arms like, don't drink it, don't drink it.
Yeah, so Ian's seen the Emperor's New Groove, got it.
Their plan is basically, oh, let's give her a poison drink. If she's not really a goddess, she'll die. If she's a goddess, she'll live. No harm, no foul. Either way, we get what we want.
The poison. The poison for your taxa. Your taxa's poison.
My spinach puffs!
Emperor's New Groove is a great film.
Yes, yeah,
It's better than
yes,
this.
it is. Highly underrated. Same thing with Treasure Planet. That should have gotten a lot more than it did.
At least Eartha Kitt did win an award for her performance as Yzma.
That's good.
Well deserved.
That's really good.
But
She
the
deserved it.
poisoning fails. She, with the help of Ian's memoing to her, she throws down the cup. It's like she's furious. Tanila is asked to leave in no uncertain terms, and then she makes her own mistake. She admits to Latoxel she is fake. But if you tell a
It's
soul,
like, no one is gonna believe you, shit,
Yeah.
Lord. Good luck.
I will get you.
You know
killed.
what she should have done here? She should have said, my vessel is still mortal, so though my soul would carry on, you would kill your only chance to speak to the gods directly. Just
Yeah.
something like that to keep her safe. But no, instead she's like, I'm not really. But you know what? If you tell anybody, they'll tear you to pieces.
That's a bit Road to El Dorado, another really good film. But yeah,
Both.
Very
both,
good film.
Both is good.
And I believe that one is actually about the Aztecs.
it might be.
And also, it's a little too true to life because they did actually have native people who went against their own people in order to lead the Spanish to them. So,
You the god. No, you the god.
it's tough to be a god.
From Yu-Gi-Oh to animated movies, we want to talk about everything. Serial.
Can you blame us?
No, I can't blame
Especially as the next scene is about a marriage proposal that the Doctor doesn't even know about.
you. So how about Fluanderese, Rainiac?
Fluendery's nuts, more like.
Ah!
You are just determined to make me bring up every card that I hate in that game, aren't you, tonight? Every card, every archetype.
Here, I'll balance it out. Hey, cat, moon mirror shield.
Randy, you know that gif of the dog who's like having war flashbacks? Just put that up right now.
What?
You've never seen that?
But yeah, speaking of outsiders not knowing about ancient customs, I'm never looking at the drink of cocoa like in the same way ever again.
Are we like in the middle of the episode now, Rain?
Oh yeah, we're in the scene in the Garden of Peace.
Not this scene. I'm just trying to think about another part that happens in the scene when I believe it's the doctor and Barbara talking about their whole you can't change this, you can't change that. Blah, blah. Where Barbara mentioned specifically that Otlock will listen to me because Otlock is civilized.
Ugh.
And I'm like, ooh.
The white saviorness is showing.
And it also has the doctor make the point, one man can't change history, which I have been watching Quantum Leap all fucking summer. My ass.
That, by the way, is a terrible lesson. If this show is educational, one man can't change the world is a terrible lesson to take from this. Because one man has changed the world multiple times.
I will play devil's advocate slightly, in which if you go into the past, you don't want it to change too much because that might change your future.
All right.
And it's like, we might be the best case scenario, which is a horrifying thing to think of. But it's entirely possible.
You won't know unless you change it, though.
But the Doctor and Kameka have a touching scene in the Garden of Peace where Kameka gets the Doctor to join her in a cup of cocoa. She spills the beans, literally spills the beans in front of him.
She doesn't tell him what the cocoa is about, though.
No, so he actually says, join me in a cup of cocoa. They drink the cocoa, and Kameka says, I'm so happy we're getting married. And the Doctor's like, what? Yeah,
Nice.
It turns out in Aztec civilization, drinking cocoa together was a sign of engagement.
Blink the gif with his face. Just like
Monarcho.gif again?
What? Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's happened. And then the really telling scene between Barbara and Ian.
Oh.
Which actually kind of, this is the message that the episode is trying.
Maybe this is the scene I was thinking of.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was watching on the tablet because of the storm, so I didn't get the chance to take notes. So
he sneaks into Barbara's. He sneaks into the two where Barbara is to warn her that what Utoxel's planning to do, the whole poisoning thing. But he also says, you thought that, Utoxel was a bad man and he was the exception. They're all like him. It's Ortlock who's the exceptional man. He's the one that's the decent person. He's the outlier. And again, Kameka's right there.
God almighty.
Kameka's not savage. Kameka's not plotting to kill people. Again, I apologise. The white saviourness is showing.
Yeah, it really is.
Then what do we have, according to my notes here? Oh, yeah! We go from a marriage proposal that the groom didn't know about to another marriage proposal. But this one is done for horrible political nefarious ends.
Hey, Susan, here's your new husband.
Yeah, do you remember the perfect victim? We said that the perfect victim could demand anything, and it had to be granted.
I want to marry her.
He demands to marry Susan.
Oh, well, I guess you have no choice in the matter. After all, Susan, you're only a woman.
Fortunately, and unfortunately for Susan, Susan ascribes to the 60s style of feminism and says no to his face. And that's immediately enough to get her thrown in jail. and punished.
You dare speak out against the patriarchy? You will be punished!
She will be punished by having her tongue pierced with thorns.
What is this, 2202?
What is this, The Handmaid's Tale?
I wouldn't joke about that. We're getting eerily close to that here in the United States.
I know. It wasn't so much a joke as a reference. But, yeah, she's going to be punished. Barbara is told that somebody has transgressed. She doesn't want to push it any further, so she agrees to the punishment because it's not a sacrifice. And then she's told, by the way, your handmaid's the one being punished. And again, that's in the episode. That's not the joke. They do call Susan her handmaiden. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And then the cliffhanger then, because I can't stand much more of this. The cliffhanger of part 3. By the way, we're still in the era where they all have different... The episodes have different titles, so... We've got The Temple of Evil Part 1, The Warriors of Death Part 2, this is The Bride of Sacrifice, and then The Day of Darkness is Part 4. We should just put that out there.
Yeah, the titles.
The cliffhanger...
Well, by which the Day of Darkness would mean that there's going to be a solar eclipse, and, given the whole, sacrifice people to make the sun rise again, that's what the perfect victim is for, is to make sure that the sun actually rises again. So everything's going to happen on that day of the eclipse.
I'm having flashbacks to TNT and Prisoners of the Sun. And yes, I know that's Incas, but still, it's sacrifice, it's sun worship. It's loosely connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cliffhanger is that Ixter is still a treacherous snake. Because Ian gets out of where he is to go and meet the doctor. He says, "It's great, Doctor. I've found, or the Doctor has found a panel on the wall that can slide." So Ian,
well, it's not so much slide as they have to pry it out.
All right,
yes.
It can be removed. So Ian pulls it off, goes in, and then he's exploring inside, and here comes Ixter and says, "Oh, that stone, it must be put back immediately. It's a dam. If we don't put that back immediately, the garden will be flooded, wise man." So Ixter just puts it back. With Ian trapped inside, Ixter knows he's trapped inside because they're rivals. And the water starts to gather around Ian's feet as we cut to credits.
Dun dun dun.
How does he get out of this? By finding another loose rock.
Also, can I say that this is really weird of him to do? If only because earlier, when Ian woke up in episode 2, I think it was, after being poisoned, Ixta's like standing over him playing with a knife, and Ian, of course, is freaked out by this. But Ixta says, "I know I could defeat you in battle. I don't need to do any sort of sneaky methods. I'll kill you when we have an audience." And then he does this.
Yeah. It does kind of go against that, doesn't it? Unless he knew that Ian...
Continuity failing in Doctor Who. I'm surprised.
Unless he knew that Ian could get out.
Continuity failing in Doctor
Except,
Who.
no.
I better write an entire novel.
He boasts to
explain
Susan
away.
later that he's killed Ian off. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he 100% thinks he's killed Ian.
Yeah.
Which is,
And it's like, really?
I do like that scene though. That's one of the few scenes I like in this. In the Day of Darkness. Because Susan is to be punished, so she has to be guarded. The High Priest of Sacrifice gets Ixta to guard her. And he's being his usual horrible self. You say, "Oh, that Ian, I killed Ian," and Ian's right behind him.
oh God.
Did we mention the fact that Ian does indeed emerge into the tomb, and he tries to figure out a way to make sure that they can still open the door from the other side. So he notices an ornament above the door, and he finds this, like, I want to say it's a leather strap. TARDIS Wiki says it's a rope, but it looks like a leather strap to me.
Hey,
So he ties this... Sorry?
I was just gonna say, Ixta's like, "I did it! I killed Ian! I totally killed him! I killed him dead, Ian."
No.
Well, that happens after he gets out of the tomb. So He comes up with a system where he ties the strap to the ornament. He opens the door, slips the rope under so that hopefully they will be able to leverage the door up once, you know, they get everybody together. It, of course, does not work, but, we'll get to that in a minute. And then afterwards, he goes to get Susan. Susan's being guarded by Ixta. He absolutely knocks Ixta's block off, and they escape back to the temple.
I mean, he really hits him.
Oh, yeah. Wait, do you mean that the actor actually hits him, or
No,
just...
William Russell makes it look like he really knocks his block off, as you say.
Oh, okay.
Like he just
it just looks really realistic.
Yeah, it's a really good screen punch.
Okay.
Like, bang, down he goes like a ton of bricks. So he gets Susan out, and then you're right. They've created a pulley system basically to open the door.
Not a very good one, because there's absolutely nothing that will... I honestly don't think that this would ever work.
No.
At least with not an actual pulley, which they don't have, because as far as I know, it hasn't been invented yet, possibly.
And the strap actually breaks when they try it the first time. So what?
Yeah.
So they're not getting out that way just yet. Meanwhile, I still can't say this name. Latoxel.
Latoxel.
Him is furious at Ixta because he let Susan get away, and Ian's resurrection will be seen as another sign that Yetaxa is right.
Even though, again, nobody should know about this unless, somebody confirms that Ixta tried to absolutely murder the shit out of Ian.
Well, that doesn't matter anymore because the next grand plan is to frame Ian for assault. So Ixta smacks Ortlock over the head, but he uses Ian's club, or leaves the club for Ian to pick up, who, like a dumbass, he comes to, puts up the club, and there's everyone there to arrest him immediately, and therefore Ortlock now thinks that Yetaxa is a false goddess, because she sent her champion to attack him.
Oh, fun.
So the villains are now getting their way. And so now with the power returning to him, he's devised a way to keep Barbara out of interfering with the sacrifice. She'll be locked away during the eclipse, so everyone thinks she's just disappeared like gods do, I guess. While the Doctor...
Actually, I think by this point, the idea is to make it seem more like she's a false goddess, so the idea that she ran away after being discovered.
Yeah, that too. But she'll
Rather
be
than
gone.
having her
She'll
around
be
to
gone
clear it
anyway,
up.
and he'll have the power over the society again. Society.
This is a lot like El Dorado. I wonder if they watched this.
This is a lot like El Dorado, just not
sorry
good.
for them.
It just didn't get the quality right, but yeah.
It's not a musical. Yet.
Yeah.
And God, Aztecs the musical? No, just no.
I mean, I can turn it into a musical really easily. I mean, it's not hard.
God damn! No! Come on now! It's only September. It's only September. Listen. You have to share my pain here. It's what, the 25th of September? Is it the 25th of September? Yes, it is. According to my computer. Yeah, get this. There has been Christmas adverts on TV over here already.
Oh yeah. Oh, you want something? You want something wild? A week ago, while you were recording End of the World podcast, I was in Marystown shopping. I'm in the store. We walk through the Halloween aisle. We turn to the next aisle. On one side is like general fall shit, like
The other
fall
side is
stuff,
Christmas
stuff.
shit.
The other side is Christmas shit. And this was
That's been going on here, but you know what? I can beat both of you because we had fucking Christmas in July.
Oh God.
Right.
So fuck you, we win.
Let's get
It's a
to
shit prize, but we still win.
let's get to the end of this nonsense then.
Well, even if it's a shit prize, I don't want a lot for Christmas.
So we have Kameka. We have Kameka, who has grown very fond of the Doctor, and she wants to help him.
Can anyone tell we're on a time limit? Because we're stretching this shit out.
Can you just tell I'm just done with this? We're talking about the serial.
I honestly don't give two shits. I would sell it as they open the door and leave. The end.
No, we have to actually make an effort, kind of, sort of, maybe.
So go on. Right
yeah. So she.
Nobody attempts to watch this.
She wants to help the Doctor. The Doctor wants to save Ian, but they don't think they can save both Ian and Susan. They might be able to get one of them out, but not both. That choice is not really played upon because they do both get out in different ways.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, poor old Ortlock, who I do feel sorry for here, actually. I do feel sorry for him because he's manipulated by everybody in this.
Including Barbara.
Yeah, who's doing it for quote-unquote good reasons, but she's still manipulating the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Basically, he has a crisis of faith. And he's able to be convinced that it was not actually Ian that attacked him. But he can't really do anything. So what does he do? He leaves. He gives Kameka all his possessions.
Yes,
I'm going to
he
go into
gives her
the wilderness
he
to be
gives,
a wanderer.
Yeah. He gives her his badge of honor, which is a symbol of his position, his house, and all of his possessions. And he says, give this to Susan's guard as a bribe, and we'll get Susan out of there.
Yeah, and then he leaves. And you don't see him again. Which suits
So, good job, Barbara. So far, you've caused the deaths of 2 people.
Yeah. Soon to be 3.
Yes. Actually, it's soon to be 4, I think.
No, because he was always going to die.
Still.
The clue is in the name victim.
True.
But, yeah. So he leaves to go into the wilderness, which suits the other priest perfectly because now he's got no rival. So the sacrifice can be prepared and we can go ahead with this. Your friends have no hope, Yutaxa. I've won, you've lost.
Hey, you guys want to really hate me?
Go on.
I just thought of a really awful reading into this.
Yep.
Oh no, what's that?
The arrival of white people have driven out all sense of knowledge, and now they are truly just savage.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah. Thanks, I hate it is right.
To be fair, white people do tend to ruin everything. Saying that as a white person, we do tend to ruin everything.
Yeah,
dancing, food, spice, being able to be around your neighbors and not absolutely despise them.
Again, that gets into uncomfortable talk about how you're just being judged for the colour of your skin, no matter what your colour of the skin is, which I don't want to go into, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, the primary plan works perfectly. They get Susan out, and then when they're getting Susan out, here comes Ian, bang! Just knocks him the hell out. So Kameka gets Susan out. Ian, meanwhile, disguises himself as the fallen guard.
Hey, wait a minute. I must have missed something, because I don't remember. How does Ian get away from everybody?
He takes the headdress of the fallen guard.
No, I mean, how did he get there? Because he was arrested.
Oh, that's a very good point.
He was arrested, and then suddenly he's there to help free Susan.
Did Ortlock free him off camera?
No, because he said he couldn't free him at all. He said he could free Susan,
yeah.
but not Ian.
That's weird. Okay.
I think they were both there for some reason.
Okay, he escaped. Let's go with that.
He escaped.
He escaped.
Yeah. So
Ian's the master?
Let's go with that.
God.
So the master...
That's a hell of a twist.
That master is now dressed as the guard with his big bird headdress. This has got completely off the press. Jesus. Again. There's more plotting. Tanilla will take over as the High Priest of Knowledge, which suits perfectly because that's what Ytoxel wants. He wants somebody who's a subordinate to him. Susan does get back with Barbara and the Doctor. The Doctor and Kameka then say their goodbyes because she wants to stay with him, but she knows in her heart the Doctor could never stay. Which is sad. She does give him something to remember her by. A seal. Not that kind of seal.
Baby.
Not the animal seal either. Clapper, no.
Look, Steel Gaiman wants to go with him, okay? He just does.
Seal Gaiman.
I think I still have a picture of him that I can
That's
post here.
top tier even for you, Kat. That is top tier.
Oh, I 100% stole it.
Seal Gaiman, oh my god. And then the time comes for the sacrifice. The perfect victim has been taking his last few hours alive, walking amongst the people, being paraded amongst the people. We don't see any of this. It's just talked about. Because that would require hiring extras. So he then gets on the altar. But the travellers do try to stop the sacrifice. Ytoxel tries to kill Barbara. He is stopped by Ian, who is still dressed as the guard. Also, they find the guard unconscious before this happens, and Tanilla kills him because he betrayed them because he took a bribe, I guess.
So there's the third death that she has caused.
Well, I think technically Ian caused that.
They still collectively as a group.
Yeah, all right, but yes, that's the third one. And it's about to be number 4 then because Ian stops Ytoxel from killing Barbara. That enrages Ixter. Everyone else immediately abandons the temple. Smart move. And they have a fight. And
they have a fight.
It's a long. God damn it! Fate out. Fate out beautifully. Well done. They have a confrontation. It's a very long and protracted confrontation. Seriously, I think this felt like it lasted about 2 minutes. It's just 2 men fighting with clubs and shields.
Shorter than the caveman fight in An Earthly Child.
Don't make me think about the caveman fight from An Earthly Child again. And just as Ixter's about to land a killing blow, Ian does a monkey flip, it can only be described as, and throws Ixter off the temple and kills him. And we see him land. Or we see his dead body on the ground next to the temple.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
That was a hell. No, he's definitely not fine. No. That was a hell of a drop.
But you know what? We're fine because they finally get the door open and can get the fuck out of here.
At long last. And then the sacrifice just happens.
Yeah.
We changed nothing!
We changed one thing.
Matter.
We ruined a high...
History is immutable!
No. We changed one thing. We ruined a good man's life.
Well, the Doctor has this thing where it's like, oh, ruin or make better?
No,
ruin.
he went out
Ruin.
into the jungle to be almost immediately eaten by something, I'm sure.
Absolutely ruin.
They
Not to
try
mention the
have
whole fact that you got rid of the one person who actually had knowledge and wasn't the puppet of the guy who wanted to make a whole bunch of sacrifices. So, good job, guys.
Who's to say that if they hadn't interfered, he would have stopped it? Who's to say?
History. That's
True, and that's the whole point of this.
Unless we're doing some horrible, fucked up predestination paradox thing, where it's like their intervention is what destroyed the Aztec Empire.
Ugh.
But that's not. I don't think that's the read of the episode.
No,
the read of the episode is that history is immutable and you can't change it.
The whole point, as Barbara says in the TARDIS, is that they couldn't change it. Ytuxel had to
Oh
win.
no, they absolutely did though. The problem is that they changed it for the worse.
Yeah. Ytuxel had to win. And so he did.
I wish I could remember the name of the story, but this all reminds me of this short story by, I believe, Ray Bradbury, where it's about this guy who goes back in time on this specific hunt that a company has,
Sound of
where you
Thunder.
have that's the one, yes. Where you have to stay on the walk, and then you walk along, and you go in and you hunt like a T-Rex or something. Anyways, he accidentally steps off, and he steps on a butterfly, and then when he gets back to the future, a fascist is in control. Because of the butterfly.
So the butterfly
Yep.
effect?
Literally.
Is that what the story is called?
No, it's called Sound of Thunder.
Okay.
It's a really good story. It's also horrifying. It also kind of reminds me of this.
Yeah.
Just a little.
And basically, that's the whole point. That this is one of the few Doctor Who adversaries that doesn't receive any comeuppance. He gets what he wants. He gets his sacrifice. Life carries on as normal for the Aztecs.
Well, minus one very smart man.
Minus one very smart man. Yeah.
Oh, and a woman gets heartbroken. Several people are dead, including one of their best warriors.
But apart from that, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. This is fine. It really isn't fine. God. And then we have to set up the next story, which is the censor rights, I believe.
Yep.
I feel this is appropriate.
Oh God.
I mean, fair, because we already had He's Fine.
Which is funny because that's not even a real Gandhi quote.
No, it isn't, is it? I found that out.
Yeah. I think it's a quote from another movie or something.
Is it from the film Gandhi by any chance?
No. It's very much not.
Okay, good.
Are we done with the Aztecs?
Yeah,
finally?
we will not be doing, unless you pick it, we're not going to be doing this for a while, but the next story is the censor rights, and basically, the TARDIS is stationary, but it's also moving. So, have we landed on something? Barbara says, could we have
Or
landed
in
in something?
something.
Yeah. And that whole line of dialogue was better than the Aztecs that came before it. Jesus Christ. I think we all know what we thought of it, but let's just make it official. Who wants to go first, and what do we think about the Aztecs?
Everybody jump up all at once now.
Okay, I'll go first then if nobody else wants to.
Go ahead.
Okay.
God, this is bleak. See, this was actually Jacqueline Hill's favourite story, and I can understand why from her perspective, because it's one of the few times Barbara got to be the focal point of the episode. Sorry, the serial. But that doesn't change the fact that it's so goddamn bleak, and yeah, traditionalists love it, which is probably why I hate it. I am slowly turning into a not a traditionalist, well, in fact, not slowly.
I'm already there.
I'm talking about me. But, yeah. The acting's okay, I guess. It's wild that the Doctor actually goes against Ian, although he is tricked into doing it, so it's not a complete heel turn. But he was manipulative. He would, in the early days, work towards his own ends. And I do mean his own ends. Not necessarily the group, although they often did overlap. But it's just joyless. I just couldn't find any enjoyment in it at all. That's it. It's joyless.
Yeah, you summed it up pretty well, if I may. Yeah, I don't like it either. It's just got this, like you said, bleak, almost nihilist tone of nothing matters. You can't change history. It's immutable. So don't even try. In fact, trying just makes things worse, you stupid idiot. Which, okay, like, this is early Doctor Who, I know, where they're still trying to find their footing. And a lot of the early historicals are just this sort of, oh god, everything sucks here, and we're cut off from the TARDIS because of some arbitrary reason, so we just have to fucking survive. Marco Polo does it, Reign of Terror does it, Crusade kinda does it, but then after that, the historicals, we start getting shit like time meddler, and then like the Romans, and so they start getting, you know, kind of funny romps instead of these bleak, serious things. And eventually, you got rid of the pure historical overall, and it ended up just being we're in history, but there's also aliens. But this is not fun. It's, there's just I don't understand why you throw this on. Honestly, it's like I guess it's good drama if you want a completely different show other than Doctor Who, because it does bear the name of Doctor Who, but it's from that early time where they're still trying to find their footing. So it does not feel like most Doctor Who that we know and love today. So I don't know what you get out of it in 2022, to be honest with you. And that's all I have to say.
Well, I disagree. I think that this episode or this serial is the epitome of early Doctor Who. It's racist, it's sexist, it has Barbara knowing absolutely nothing, they fuck everything up, and also it culminates in an idea that, is really horrible to think about, namely the fact that one person cannot change anything. Early Doctor Who!
I mean, you just summed it up right there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's not good. It really isn't. Like, the entire time I was watching this, I had this kind of air of bemusement just because this is that bad. But this is not, like, to the level of The Room bad. This is bad for an entirely different reason, and it's not good at all. Like I said, it's got those sexist moments where it's like, a good wife does this, and it has the moments where it's like, you can't change shit because you're just one person, and, all that horrible stuff, which, I mean, this was meant for kids, right?
Family, all ages.
This is really dark for a kid's show. And it's like, I've seen some dark shit in kids shows, but this really takes the cake, and it's just, it ain't good. Don't watch it. Save yourselves. Skip it.
But it is dealing with a dark period of history, so it kind of has to be dark to respond to that.
You know what's really funny? It was kind of funny though. You remember the 50th anniversary? Do you remember? I don't know if you remember these specials BBC America did. They were called The Doctors Revisited.
Yeah.
Did they skip the Aztecs?
They picked this.
Yeah, they were like, you got this little 30-minute documentary about the history of a particular doctor, and and you get people interviewed, and they're like, oh, this doctor, he was known for this and that, and blah blah blah. And then at the end, you have Moffat, and he comes on and he introduces a classic story with that doctor to show you. And the story they picked for the first doctor was the Aztecs.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason,
this is
whenever
like the worst one.
whenever it comes down to here's a selection of older Doctor Who stories, one per Doctor, they picked the Aztecs for Hartnell.
It's like, I was just kind of joking when I said this was the epitome of early Doctor Who. You didn't have to actually pick it.
The chase is right there.
Well, it had to be a full
Unearthly Child is right there.
Yeah,
Dalek Invasion of the...
Yeah, it had to be 4 episodes, but yeah, you could have done Unearthly Child, like you said. You could have done The 10th Planet, or fucking Romans.
Anything not this.
Is the 10th Planet fully in existence, though?
Oh yeah, the 10th Planet didn't fully exist. Never mind, you couldn't have done it. War Machines. War Machines.
I mean, that's bad for a different reason.
Well, yeah, okay.
War Machines, aka getting shot of Dodo.
I'm just thinking of but it's still better than this.
Oh yeah.
Lesser series.
God,
But
do you know what watching this has made me realise? I missed the Time Meddler.
and the Time Meddler has some real messy shit in it.
It does, but it's also, it's actually got fun in it. It's
Like,
enjoyable to a degree.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't imagine for 1 second you're going to follow this up with another traditional joyless story. Frezno, so what have you got?
Boy.
So kids, fun fact, by the time this podcast comes out, maybe it'll be out on the thing or not, but Tuesday, September the 27th, is my birthday! And usually I use my birthday slot on this thing to pick an episode I like. I've gone with McCoy stories in the past, but we've done all the McCoy stories. So, do I pick for my birthday? What do I pick for my birthday?
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. What's my brand?
Oh, you've picked
I
Matt.
know. Next time on Doctor Who Reviews, Jenna Coleman in Name of the Doctor.
Okay, I can get behind this.
Not even Matt Smith. Just Jenna Coleman.
I can get behind this. It's not Kill the Moon, so I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm just racking my brains to think if that's actually within our remit. It's in our remit. You get it. Okay. Name of the Doctor it is.
Of course, it's in our remit. We've done like almost all of Series 7.
We agreed we would not do repeats apart from Death in Heaven because you wanted to redo
Yeah.
after a certain point. But that just about falls before that. So, yeah, good choice. I get to talk about what a great waste the great intelligence was.
You get to talk about the Paternoster gang again.
Yes, true.
That's right, Strax is in this.
By virtue of one
My
of them
favorite.
dying. Yeah, but I get to talk about Paternoster gang by virtue of one of them dying twice.
Oh shit, the Great Intelligence is in this one.
I mean, he's barely in it.
Oh shit!
Still.
We get the Trenzalore arc.
There is nothing wrong with Richard E. Grant.
Isn't River in this one too?
Oh yeah.
There is.
Hey!
And
This is
it's
a good
the
episode as
and it's
far as
the
I
resolution to the Impossible Girl. I mean, a lot of people were down on this finale. I don't know. I
Oh
don't
my
know
god,
what-
I just remembered. This is also the one where they reveal who the War Doctor is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is a good one.
Yeah.
Good pick.
I'm glad we are all in agreement.
I think it's a good episode and a bad finale, but
I don't know.
you'll find out about that next week. So yeah, good pick. And
I wonder what we thought about it in 2013.
I did it on my own with you doing a cameo, fangirling about
Ooh,
William Hartnell.
interesting. So this is the first time that we've got a group.
Oh ho ho.
Yeah, it is.
This is going to be fun.
Anyway, shall we wrap up?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not getting a prompt from either of my co-hosts, but you can find us lovely people on Twitter at Reviews Doctor, and you can find us individually at Reniac the Maniac, at Freezing Inferno, at Concave Usurper, and at the Kacheri. It's twitch.tv/Reniac/Freezing Inferno /Concave Usurper and /the Kacheri. By The Tower of the Trees by Sean Dillon. By Back to the Empire by Volumes 1 and 2 by Krista McTeer. She'll probably be delighted we've picked another Matt Smith episode.
Oh, I know you will, Krista. I know you will.
And also the one that leads into The Day of the Doctor.
Which we did with Krista.
Yes, and that was a great time.
That was a wonderful.
Anything else to plug? I don't think there is.
I haven't finished Quantum Leap Season 5 yet, but Season 5 is fucking crazy!
Other than to say that, because I forgot to mention this when the Doctor Who Twitter page linked to her work, that Millie Mackenzie is a fantastic artist.
Neat.
And she's now moved on to doing, as well as Doctor Who art, Poirot art, because she's been watching all of the Hercule Poirot stories in order.
Oh, that...
And was
that makes
amazed
you
when
happy,
Peter
I'm
Capaldi
sure.
showed up.
Oh my.
In a series 3 episode called Wasp's Nest, he played an artist, and at one point he's in clown get-up.
Oh lord.
And I said to her, there's actually another couple of Doctor Who actors showing up, but I'm not saying when they show up. One old and one new show up in Agatha Christie's Poirot, but she's going to have to wait a long time for the old one. I think she's within a series of the new one, but the old one is way after that.
Who are they? I don't go here.
Well, does Millie listen to these podcasts?
I don't know. Millie, don't listen to this part!
Millie, if you're listening, don't listen to this part. Eccleston and McGann.
Millie, you can listen to this part now. Okay. Good night, Raniac.
Good night, Rainiac.
Good night, Raniac. And join us next time when we talk about Jenna Coleman and Matt Smith too, I guess. Starring in The Name of the Doctor. Until then, bye for now. Two minutes because I'm going to go and feed a hedgehog.
Eat a hedgehog. hedgehog? What
What?
the fuck? Okay, you're putting this in the blooper reel, Rainiac, because I am fucking baffled. He just, I didn't even know he had a hedgehog. He's just out of nowhere, non-sequitur says, "Be right back, I'll feed the hedgehog." It's like, what?
And then all of a sudden, and Knuckles appears.
Rogue the Bat!
When was there a hedgehog? I missed this.
What the fuck had happened while I was on vacation?
Rain?
I come back, and there's a hedgehog, and Mike has an iPad.
Rain?
And there's knights on tridents. What?
Frez, I want to know, have you ever seen Rain? Because he's gone. Rain?
He's feeding a hedgehog. And we're probably still on the blooper reel. At least I hope we are. We better.
Oh, is that what he said? I was reading something, and all I heard was suddenly he has a hedgehog, and I'm like, wait, where's this hedgehog?
He went right. He said, "Be right back. I'm gonna feed my hedgehog." Which, at least that's what I heard. Am I fucking crazy? You have a hedgehog. It's gonna be really funny. Words feed a hedgehog like British slang.
I mean, I know hedgehogs are kind of common over in England, but
We tell him to steal a cat and he steals a hedgehog instead.